Today we're doing a commander guide for Gimli, who is a solid tier 2 commander. Stick around for some really solid talents and how you can get started very quickly with Gimli. Hello my friends and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and today I've got to break down Gimli, who I got very early on in the game. I got kind of lucky, and I have used him extensively. I've taken him all the way up to loyalty 3, which you honestly, as far as I can tell, don't even need to do to get a ton of value with him. At low loyalty, he is good. Now, before we get into his talents, I want to mention that he is a warrior, so he's going to get might. He's going to get some skill points and some physical damage. He is a commander where you're going to want to stack might, and you can see that his base value for might is relatively high. He's not all that fast in terms of speed, and his focus is relevant for other things. Yeah, I found that surprising in his talents, but let's get a look over there because his lore actually kind of matches the way that he plays in-game. I want to show you that by starting with the bottom tree. The things that unlock in loyalty 0 through 2, and I'm not going to lie, 2 allied units get a 30% chance to recover 50% hit points when damage is sustained is really good. And here is where that focus comes into play. The hit point recovery is boosted by your focus. And on the topic of lore, it wouldn't really be Gimli if he didn't have a special relationship with elves and other dwarves. Damage received by minus 14%. These talent points are busted good. For 7 points, 14% damage reduction is exactly where you want to be for top tier. At the bottom here, there is Protect Elves, and I debate if I should maybe invest more into this. The dwarf unit with the highest defense protects all elven units and defense plus 12.8%. Now, I'm still unpacking exactly how this works. I possibly should go all in on this because I am a dwarven player with the T4 unit, but it seems like a really solid boost to the defense of the dwarven unit that has the highest defense, and at least one instance of damage seems to go to the dwarf tank unit instead of my other armies. And for what it's worth, I'm using a blend here. In fact, I can show you if I haven't been attacked. I'm definitely in a little bit of a pickle here. I'm in a little bit of a pickle, but this is the army composition that I'm using, okay? I've got 2 elven ranged units, and then my T4 tank unit up front with the dwarves. Ooh, it's so good. That is a very solid combination, and I'm just really all in on that damage taken reduction. If I show you just a quick look at a few reports, hopefully this gives you just a little bit of an example of what you might be able to do with Gimli. I mean, their gear is fine, but against this opponent, it's not OP. This opponent is simply low level, and I mean, if you out-level your opponent, you're going to do really quite well. Here's another Gimli situation, but they don't have many troops there, and over here, that's a Gandalf with not all that many troops. Gandalf is basically terrifying. I'll talk about him in a separate video, okay? My Gimli reports have been fine. They've been fine. I wouldn't call them OP, and I need to spend more time getting a look understanding for just how much of the fight that protection ability actually works for. Leave a comment down below if you know. I'll continue on to Experienced Warrior, increasing the commander's normal attack damage by 60% and boosting your own damage against melee units by 10. In addition, I've taken the Max of Collaboration. This is doing damage every single turn, and also, after the commander attacks against an enemy target, damage dealt is increased by 11.2%, modified by might, and stacks for 2 rounds, and you can have up to 2 stacks. I feel like just that base configuration is very, very strong. And if you were using Gimli and you didn't want to do that elf combo, I mean, maybe there's still reason to use him. I don't know that there is compared to other commanders, but you could go all in at loyalty level 3 or higher on a Durin's Blood and Experienced Warrior build. This would give you more skill damage, a might boost when you get to the top, Whirlwind, and also All In, which are very high damage abilities. I don't exactly love the skill damage build compared to this healing build. It seems to be working incredibly well for me. And at loyalty level 5 or higher, things get kind of interesting, where now you can gain access to extra damage dealt against enemy melee units, and reduce the damage you receive from melee units by 5% when you reach the max level, which is really good. Up top, break defenses. Every other round, you're going to make it so against one enemy target, you deal physical damage and reduce their defense, which is pretty good. And then also open wound. So this is a 3-round warm-up and then hits, and then another 3-round of warm-up. Against one target, you deal physical damage, and they cannot recover hit points for 2 rounds. Well, hello. Well, hello. At loyalty level 5, you actually counter all the stinking healing that's running around the map. I think if I got to loyalty level 5, I would immediately go over and get that and max it. Like, slam dunk. Cannot recover hit points is so backbreaking against so many of the commanders that are meta. That's what I would go for. Gimli counters healing. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's where it's at, man. Get your loyalty level to 5 on Gimli, and now I would imagine you could start to battle more successfully against someone like Gandalf. You could battle more successfully against other healers like other Gimlis. I mean, that's what I would do. Keep this branch. Keep this branch. Eager for your thoughts down below, though, if that build makes sense or there's something else you'd try. Okay, Chisgule from the future here. I was testing with that other build a little bit, and I switched over to this one, and now I want to go play around with this and see how it performs. I think this is going to do better. I think the front-loaded damage from Durin's Blood is probably going to be better than the slow and steady damage every turn from Experienced Warrior and Collaboration, but I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out and see how much the bursty damage from this AoE is going to be. I think it's going to be pretty strong, though, in the grand scheme of things. I think this is going to do even better. Well, that was fast. I got attacked twice. Literally, shortly after making the build. So, what just happened? Gandalf the Grey. Yikes, bro. Yikes. Mega yikes. That's a big rip right there. 3,300 dead, 2,200 wounded for them, and a lowly 86 wounded for me, and 131 dead for me. They attacked me. Okay? They attacked me. And what did they do? Like, how do you even accomplish that? They've got the right points. Their gear is pretty mediocre. Their units are fine. Like, those units are fine. Yikes, bro. It's just, having fewer units in a healer battle is really bad. And I got healing, and he's got healing. That's not where you want to be. You want to have a dominant number of units, and speaking of which, here's Pylon, who has a really impressive Gandalf the Grey, at least in every encounter I've had with it. It's rough, and this battle went well for me, so even after I take the other fight and then I start this one, this is a great outcome for me. 402 dead units for me, 1,001 dead units for him. That's the way. That's not so bad. I like the units that he's chosen. I mean, he's got some tough stuff in there, right? Like, if you don't have the T4 tank like I do, the Cataphracts are savage, man. They got the 10% damage taken reduction and another 15% from melee units. He's got his T4 March Wardens, which are solid. And the Bow Knights. Classic unit, man. Reduces damage taken. And his gear is better than mine, for sure. By a long shot. That's much better gear than mine. So, yeah, no. I think this upgrade to Gimli was a big upgrade. So, loyalty level 3. I think you start to do some punchy stuff with that combination of talents that I was just showing you. And, okay, they're not coming at me just yet. I mean, they'll definitely overwhelm me in this position. I think I'm in trouble, but I do also think that this combination is a stronger way to go. And it could even be that I should ditch some more damage to go with even more Protect Elves. I just don't know, though. I think reducing the damage that everything takes is probably better overall. Because I got a lot of defense already. There's some diminishing returns maybe when you stack too much defense. But hopefully just showing you these builds and some of the results and things as they're unfolding is helpful to you. Is it? Is that helpful? Now, in terms of the equipment for Gimli, this is kind of an interesting one. Obviously, stacking Might seems like the way to go. I've got Might, I've got Speed, I've got Army Attack, and I'm ignoring the defense of the target with this particular affix Flay. I'm not all that attached to that particular affix. It's what I had at the time when I was leveling him up, so it's what I'm using. My blue leather armor, baby, gives me Might, it gives me Focus, it gives me Speed, and Speed for my ranged. My blue helmet's giving me Might, and also my melee units reduce the damage they receive. I'm tanking, so I want to reduce that damage I'm receiving. And also, I mean, the Harp of Lothlorien, benefiting elves. I've got Focus, which helps my heals. And also army speed for elves, and the damage that my elves deal is boosted. Now, subsequently, I picked up this sucker over here. Oh, this is a pretty good one. Focus speed and army speed ranged, and also all allied units have recovery boost. I mean, there's a lot of options for what you could do on your Gimli, but I would be probably focusing on the damage that you deal with your affixes. And by the way, I would probably try to boost your hit points a little bit if you could. Like, Protect Elves is going to give you some pretty good defense, right? But I would try to boost your hit points to have a higher health pool to work with. That seems pretty strong to me in the grand scheme of things. Now, if you wanted to unlock and work on Gimli, I think good news there, you have a lot of options. If I make my way over to the tavern and I go to Recruit Commander, I can show you that Gimli has got an item here that you'll have to make a choice. One dwarf or another. Both of these dwarves, I think, do have an option to cut healing, for what it's worth. The thing that I like about Gimli is specifically his synergy with elves. I think if you're interested in that plan, it's pretty good. I don't know that I would run Gimli some other way. I mean, I guess you could do non-elves, and I guess you could go that route of just like you get him to loyalty level 5 and you just start cutting healing. But these torn pages, you can get a number of ways. Specifically, the Red Book is going to give you a lot of those. So you'll have the opportunity in your Red Book of Westmarch to go and get those. Also, if you go to the Matham Peddler, you do have the option over here of going in and setting what treasure you want in your wish list. So I have that set in my wish list, and I've been getting no small amount of those. And I went this route not because I thought like, oh yeah, this is the T2 commander I've got to go for, but mostly because I happened to get an unlock of him. And I was like, well, heck, let's go all in and see how good he is. And sure, I haven't gotten him as far as I could yet, but I'll continue to work on Gimli for, as long as I'm running this particular account and see if I get up to loyalty level 5, am I going to start smashing those Gandalfs? Because man, they are doing some work against me. My goodness. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, throw a like on here, consider subscribing, and leave a comment. Please do, with build suggestions if you think there's something else we should be doing. Leave a comment with army composition if you think there's something else that's going on there that we should get a look at. I really like, for dwarves specifically, the T4 tank unit of the dwarves with some punch from the elves. Seems pretty good. You'll just have to be ready to do a lot of healing of whatever that tank unit is, because, man, it gets pretty beat up. And until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies, and we'll see how we do with this crossing over here. Oh, boy.